Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear clients, investors, analysts, uh, and academicians, I welcome you all to the analyst briefing of Systems Limited. Uh, Insight Securities is proud to host Insight Systems Limited for the analyst call for the results of calendar year 2020. With us online is Mr. Asif Peer, the CEO of Systems, and Ms. Ruhi Khan. She is the CFO of Systems Limited. From Insight Securities, this is Zubair Ghulam Hussain. I head Insight Securities. We have the head of research, Ms. Syed Numan Ahmad, and Ahmad, who is the IT analyst at Insight Securities. Now, why are we excited to host Systems? It's simply because of the fact that System Limited has been one of the best performing companies in the Insight universe. And we have been putting up a consistent buy rating on the stock. Uh, the numbers of Systems Limited speak for themselves. The market cap at the time of listing was $42 million way back in February 2015. Close yesterday, the market cap of the company was at $390 million. That's a whooping 840% jump to what it was 6 years ago. So these are almost hard numbers since the time of listings, and it serves as the best introduction for any management as to what the risk returns that they have been able to generate for the investors. The revenue CAGR is simply 32% in the last 5 years, and the bottom line CAGR is 40% in the last 5 years. Now, it clearly seems that Team Systems is working some magic and putting out these numbers. What that magic is for the management to tell. And without wasting much of a time, I would hand over to Asif and learn about what tricks that he's being putting to work in putting out such good numbers. Asif, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Zubair, for a warm introduction, and I welcome all investors, prospects. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning from wherever you guys have joined. And thank you for joining. Thank you for your trust on the company, and thank you for trust on the management. I'm really proud of a very good, excellent leadership, excellent team that I have here in Systems, and I'm really proud of my team who has been able to generate that sustainable result. So I would like to, I think the agenda of today's analyst briefing is basically I will start with a very high level introduction, give you guys a brief overview of the company, the way forward, future outlook. And I would love to take as many questions as you guys can ask, and Zubair will be moderating that. You guys can type in the chat window your question and answers, and a moderator will review group and ask the question, and I would love to answer as many as I can, and would like to give you complete visibility. So I'm just starting with the systems at a glance because I don't know, I'm not sure, there might be a few new comers as well in this call. So it's better to have some highlight of the company. So if somebody doesn't know and reviewing the company for the first time, they have some idea what we do. Systems Limited, Pakistan global technology powerhouse. We are proud to say that we are the leading IT services and consulting exporter from Pakistan. We received a top platinum award for the Pakistan from Minister of IT and Pakistan Software Export Board. So we cherish that award, and we are looking forward to consistently maintain and do more and more. We were also being very recognized by Global Forbes, Asia Best Company Under a Billion for 2020. They have like shortlisted about good 20 or 1,000 companies from the globe, from the Asia, and we were one of the top 200 companies that they have selected. Only the first company and the only company in IT so far. So we are very proud of these accomplishments, and my team has done a great job to reach at that level. We are in business. So we are 44 plus years, 3,500 plus employees, and most of our earnings are dollar based, 80% export. We have very diversified client portfolio, and we are operating as a global company in 4 continents. Uh, so that's a brief intro. Like this is our journey. 1977, the company has been formed, as you guys mostly know, about with our chairmen Azad Hussain and Syed Babar Ali. And then since then, we are reinventing ourselves every few years and constantly working hard towards creating the value and solving the problem for our customers globally and serving the customers. And nurturing the employee ownership culture in our company. So that has been the seeded in the company since beginning, and we have been nurturing that culture and talent through employee ownership and serving our customers globally. You guys can see the slide, but I think 2019 was great as well. We with our one load, we received IFC investment. And you guys can see we doubled our profitability since 2018 to 2020. We doubled our numbers in profitability. We received, as I said, among award, and we were top 3 best performing stock in PSX in 2020 as well. I'm thankful to our board for their consistent guidance and the leadership that they provide and the mentorship they provide to the management and the support, their full support. So I'm blessed with a very good diversified board members and the chairman for their mentorship. And I'm really thankful to the entire board for supporting and giving us the direction for the future so we can sustain that growth. So we have a very strong board, and we have added 2 new members. You guys can see Sayed Shahbarzadi. He doesn't need any introduction, and Omar Saeed, we're dynamic business entrepreneurs, and he was on our board earlier, so he's adding immense value. And again, Asif Juma is an independent director. Arshad Masood is our visionary CEO as well. And Romana, of course, she adds good diversity, and she is expert in retail in their area, and that is very aligned with our business focus. I think the core thing is the management team and the leadership team that what we have. We are proud to induct Asif Akram as Chief Operating Officer last year. He joined us in July of 2020. I think that's he has been a catalyst, one of the key driver for the operations and the growth. He was managing $400 million plus services portfolio in GBS, IBM, and like 20 plus years of experience. With his experience, I'm very excited. He is partner, and we will continue this growth journey. Of course, Ruhi is part of this call, and there are others. GM markets, they are aggressively growing these markets, and I'm very proud of my leadership team. And of course, HR. It's key in our business is supply side, how to manage the culture, talent, and I think that's the key in our business from the supply side. So our structure of the company, it's a shareholding as a structure based on our 2020 shareholding systems is still 51% is owned by current and ex-employees, and we have about 20 odd percent, roughly 20% foreign investors, funds, and there are about local funds, about 20%, and remaining is other public shareholders and other investors. So this is the company structure. We 100% own Techvista Dubai. AP Systems is our one load, and Systems Ventures we form the company. So for our future investment and incubation, that's an idea I'll share in a future later slides. So as a group, what we do, we provide. We consult, we design, we engineer, we operate and optimize and unleash the client's performance and give them ROI-based solution offerings, solve their business and technology problem, help them in digital transformation, business transformation, their journey to the future growth. These are the areas that you can see which we provide the services. Retail, digital commerce, digital transformation is the key building block these days. As you guys know, our business and our lives have been transformed by the pandemic, right? When we, of course, with this situation, I think digital footprint and digital landscape has been changed. Uh, there's an immense demand that has been generated, and all the barriers has been broken with this kind of, I think, when people were challenged with this pandemic situation. So lucky, I think we thought through it, and I was saying before pre-COVID even or pre-pandemic situation, we were very well aligned with our technology footprint. We were in all the latest technology landscape, which we have been serving to our customer, where we have immense references. So we were well poised to take an advantage of this opportunity that emerges from this crisis. So we have taken an advantage and from that opportunity, and I see a great fast moving growth in these areas as well. So way forward, I think that's very important to understand. Of course, we have achieved whatever we have achieved, but what is our way forward direction and how we take it forward? Because as I said earlier, it's strong demand and strong growth ahead of us, right? So there's a great opportunity for us in globally, since we are global. So global, we are very small companies in numbers as compared to what we can say, and the market size is too big. So for us, expansion is no brainer, right? So wherever we are doing two prong approach. Of course, whichever market we are double downing on that and focus on that core focus to grow those markets where there's a great margins and revenues, and of course expanding on the other side as well to make sure that we expand more in other markets so we can constantly do organic growth as well, which is desired and which is available. I would say it's available for us to capture only. Inorganic growth is I think it's important, and we are constantly looking for aligned strategies where we can have few companies which we can acquire and we can merge into our ecosystem to create a greater growth and give us the if there is any specialization that is available that can benefit and complement us, we are looking forward for that. I think the one interesting in the center, I would say, uh, 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 I would say that we have is global alliance and partnerships. So that's where I think what world has changed. This world pandemic has changed is that the partners are looking now for giving the work wherever they can. It's not like now tied up to one country. So they are looking for the resources, and since the demand is huge, supplies is scarce, we are aligning more and more with the consulting firms so that they can also use our highly deep skilled engineering skill set and the problem solving skill set with us as well. Along with that, we are very strongly aligned with the partners channels, which is Microsoft, IBM, Salesforce. So it's really giving us the next leg that we can use that in the growth strategy going forward. Invest and innovate is key, like which I mentioned, systems ventures you have seen in the previous slide. We are aggressively working in like finding the ideas and incubate those like OneLoad this year and going forward, so we can invest and innovate and within this ecosystem, how we can disrupt certain things and how we can be ahead of the curve, because we do not want to miss that startup opportunities that is on our way, and we want to do more and more while we can solve the problem in this ecosystem only and try to disrupt certain things. We have a strong vertical focus. We are now, and you will see in the next slides, the breakup, like we are telco, retail, BFSI, all the leading. Luckily, we were not in those verticals which were hit by the pandemic, like hospitality and travel and so on and so forth. So we were very lucky that we were focused and those verticals didn't decline, and they all grew from and got to have been the beneficiary of this situation. So our key focus area, I think, which is the three key strategic pillars in technology, is digital means digital commerce, digital transformation, data, and cloud. This is all three very hot commodity, and we are acquiring the skill set, we are developing the engineers, we are developing the markets aggressively in those. Strong focus on technology and digital, and on the other side, research and innovation lab. I think that's where our engineers are constantly building the new skill set, finding the problem areas for our customers in the domain that we work, and finding the solutions so we can have entry point to those customers. So this is where we are aggressively working on the AI labs and use cases that we are developing and innovating and incubating as well, because that's very important for our future journey and future growth. This was like a brief company introduction, what we do, why, and the way forward, our strategy, our direction, why we are confident for the growth. And now it's a financial review. It's mostly the past historical, of course. So if you can see, I would just keep Q4 focused. So I just gave 8 quarters consistent growth. You guys can see that. And 36% growth year on year from Q4 versus Q19 for 19, and quarter over quarter is about 12%. So we had a robust, strong performance for the Q2, where we did 2.8 billion in a quarter. And one time we used to do like this for the entire year, you know. So so basically, next slide is again combining the fiscal year 2020 performance, a strong performance. Again, you can see the CAGR of 33%, a top line growth in last 5 years, and it is consistent. And you can see that it is year-on-year revenue growth is also 31%. Revenue by vertical and offerings, I think that is very important. We do, as I said, we do serve multiple industry verticals. We are very focused on those verticals. We are investing in those verticals to come up with the solutions and problem solving wherever we see an opportunity. So telco, BFS, you can see the percentages. These retail, these were the 3 main core pillars, and the business process outsourcing is shrinking to about 16%. So as we are moving into a more digital company, a digital face of the company, and more revenue is coming from digital transformation and digital revenue as compared to the previous years. So of course, managed services, which we do in digital transformation as well, but this is like core. We are developing the strength and skill set in the digital world and making a difference in the digital economy. So I'm very proud to say that. The next is, I just wanted to share revenue by geography as well. This is very important to being global. I think, as I said, 80% of our revenue comes from export side of the equation, which is dollar-based. And we are confident that with this approach, we will keep growing. Of course, currency is immaterial right now from FX perspective, but our focus will remain on export no matter what, right? So that's the key. A key message that I would like to say. And you can see quarter over quarter, most of the every geography is performing well, an upward trajectory, and we are very confident that we will expand all of these geographies, and especially like export ones more, like from Europe, North America, Middle East. They will be the drivers of our future. And of course, we will maintain certain position in Pakistan as well to build our skill set and the resources which we need for our export markets. Revenue by top 10 customers. So we have a loyal customer base. Most of our customers has been with us for over 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. So we have a very strong, which shows that we are customer centric, customer focused, and our loyal customers give us the recurring revenue. So that's really the key. Our recurring revenue is about 90%. We have a visibility of about 80 to 90% in any given time. So we are very confident of that we will have a good future ahead of us, a sustainable one as well, because these customers provide the confidence that we will have a sustainable growth and not just a one-off type of growth, which you have seen in the previous slides as well, like consistent 5-year performance. Resource count, of course, in our business, HR is the key. As I indicated, at IT professionals, I have highlighted the growth on IT professionals. So we have been constantly adding every quarter a couple of hundred people in IT side as well. So consistent, of course, this is the key, and that's where we are strongly focused. And again, I would like to say one thing here. Now, with this kind of thinking has been transformed, we are doing all digital meetings. Now, scaling is not a limitation. Like, I don't need to worry about that. I have to scale in only in this geography of Pakistan. We can scale out anywhere in the world. People don't care where you work from. So the supply centers, just not in Pakistan, in every city of Pakistan also, and outside of Pakistan is an option for us, because now we can acquire any skill set that is available in the world, and they can work from wherever they want to. So this game has been changed a lot. So scaling out is not an issue anymore. We can do and find the resources if we have the money and we get the better rates. We get the resources from wherever we would like to. So that's what our strategy is as well going forward. Operating income, again, sustainable operating income. We have, as you can see, CAGR 49% since last 5 years in operating income, 24% growth from as compared to last year. And you can see our operating profit by quarter has also been very consistent, and quarter over quarter is increasing, as well as overall has been increasing. So 24% of our operating margin. So very consistent growth from operating income. Net income is also about 49% CAGR since last 5 years. So you guys can imagine we are doubling up very quickly since last few years. And our quarter over quarter is also improving. Of course, last quarter was a little less from a net income perspective because of taxation, and we had currency exchange loss as well, because our currency was was on a downward trend in the last quarter. But of course, we still absorbed all of this and still shown very strong growth, and I'm proud of my team for this performance. Our strong diluted EPS is again a CAGR of 41%. So I think that's can be evident consistently growth for the company. Just a very, very important thing is from a balance sheet, we have a very strong balance sheet and cash flow. We have about 5.6 net cash is about 4 billion rupees, and we have a line of about 1.6 billion. So we have a very strong cash base. We have generated free cash flow about 2 billion, which is about 76% as compared to the last year. Our DSO, day sales outstanding, has been immensely improved due to the team's consistent performance from 120 days to 75 days. So that is an immense improvement ahead of the industry. From that perspective, so our DSO has improved, our operating cash, as you can see, has improved, and also our credit line and cash. So all of the four parameters that we look at it has been promising from a balance sheet perspective. OneLoad, as you guys, most of you guys know, is our subsidiary, is our growth engine, and we are very optimistic about the future. Of course, 2020, this business is dependent on the retailers base, and when the retailers were not active, of course, the growth was not as we could have expected, but we are expecting, I would say, a robust growth in times, not in percentages anymore, in 2021. So we are very, very optimistic about the future of OneLoad, as well as more and more like central bank is taking a position with RAST, and the digital payments, digital footprint, that is taking a very good focus from the government. So I think we are very optimistic that this initiative will take it forward. We are investing aggressively as well with IFC investment in HR and our team. And with this EMI license, more and more use cases will be added, and we will be able to grow it faster. Here I will end, because I just wanted to have more and more questions from you guys and try to respond. So I'm hopeful that Zubair will moderate for now and keep throwing the questions, and you guys please keep typing the questions as well. So it will be easier for me to answer that way. Zubair, over to you. If you can please read the questions, or you want me to read, I can do that as well.
Okay, Asif, thank you so much for the detailed presentation. I think we already have a couple of questions aligned. Uh, Okay, the first one is from Umar Parvez. He is asking, can you please provide the breakup of revenue, as in what portion of revenue comes from systems integration business and in-house solutions software development? Second question that he has is, how is the ongoing transformation on-prem to cloud platforms impacting the systems integration business in general and the company in particular?
The first question is, I sure shared the graph earlier, that what is the digital business, and what is the breakup of digital business and the managed services. So integration business is of course part of digital journey as well. So that's the first. The second is cloud transformation from on-prem to cloud. That's why I said that we have three key pillars, right? Digital, data, and cloud. So it is impacting very positively, because a lot of people would like to move from on-prem to cloud, and they need app modernization, they need refactoring, rehosting, re-architecture. So that is giving us an immense opportunity for invest in the cloud, because cloud is going to grow only. uh, there's and data, everybody, whenever you talk about the data, now the cloud comes into play as well. So I think cloud transformation is cloud is mandatory in digital transformation, I would say, right? You can't do it if you just want to do everything on-prem. It will be tough to do, I would say. Not okay.
Okay. Asif, there will be many questions that would be repetitive in nature. So I will try to take as many questions, but if there is something that's been already asked, you can move forward on the next one. So you can say that you've already answered that. Next question comes from Junaid Sheikh. The recent amendment to income tax ordinance has replaced tax exemption for the IT sector with 100% tax credit. Will this impact Systems Limited? How much of the company revenue is repatriated back to Pakistan?
It will not impact at all, because it's a tax credit, number one. So P&L impact will be zero. Uh, so that's we are not worried, or we are not concerned about this at all. And we all of our exports are, we whatever we generate, I think, except the DSO minus, we transfer it here, so we remit it here. So it's not an issue. We'll be 100% compliant with the condition, 80% condition, as well as we are already registered in sales tax and withholding and all of the stuff. So it's not going to affect, and I would say it's not going to affect the industry as well, to be honest with you. It's just the ease of doing business, because systems, of course, we have the proper structure, proper consulting, but for a one 2 person shop or 5-10 people shop, they will have a little bit of hassle. That's what you can say. Otherwise, I think it should not be, but it will improve the documentation of the industry, which is good for us, which is good for the ecosystem, I would say.
Okay, next question is from Mohammad Hayat. Reasons for the decline in gross margins on quarterly basis: 37% in third quarter CY20 to 31% in CY20 fourth quarter.
I gave an answer earlier as well, that of course 80% of our revenue is like dollar based. So when dollar dip like 5 rupees or so, so of course we have to take, there is a dip, and so it's in general, it's natural, right? So, but still we
Okay,
showed a very good number from the last quarter.
the next question is from, and I have to take it on priority because this is from Insight Securities, our head of research. Please shed some light on Systems Venture. Is this a vehicle for Systems to take exposure to the nascent venture capital space in Pakistan? Secondly, he wants, please share how you see the venture space developing in Pakistan in the next 5 years. And are there certain industries that Systems want to take the exposure to which it believes it will be the first to be disrupted?
We definitely will be using that as a vehicle for investment, and we are going to this ecosystem of VC and ventures and startups is getting traction in Pakistan. What we used to have, and with this state bank recent modification and changes, if you guys are aware of it, like you can mirror the companies, you can send the money abroad, and so on and so forth. all of these changes that is going to only help the startup ecosystem. So that's why this system venture is going to help us in investing those and creating those startups. We will definitely we're looking to, since we are looking to, I would not say exposure, we are interested in our field where we are strong in, like retail, supply chain, we financial sector, like OneLoad is part of its payments, credit. So we are very interested in this because it's closely aligned with that. So of course, we will look at those sectors first because that's in our strength, that's our core, and then we move to the next one. Of course, wherever we see an opportunity. So that will be our guideline.
Okay, to supplement this, I think if you can elaborate a bit more on how actively you are, or what kind of a commitment level do you have with this new initiative at the board level, at the management level? How keen you are to get on these onwards? It's just is a philosophy that is you guys have embedded, or just a bit more on that if you can.
It's not a philosophy. We want to execute on it because
Okay.
we see an opportunity, clear opportunity ahead of this. Because Pakistan is now developing. Because 5 years ago, if you would have asked this question, or even a couple of years ago, I would have a iffy situation. But I think now it's pretty clear. It's just this ecosystem has been developing, and foreign investors and VCs are taking interest in this market because of ease of doing business. And with this recent state bank modification, I think this was a great help to the industry, and we thank the state bank for that. And I think it will really, really improve overall situation for the startup.
Thank you for elaborating more. Um Next question comes from Hamad Hussain. Has COVID 19 pulled forward growth in IT spending, or has it expanded the overall opportunity set?
Uh, it's a pandemic, as I said during my whole presentation, it has excelled the digital transformation. It has excelled in our personal lives, in our businesses. Now, every business is thinking and rethinking and investing in digital. That's what is an opportunity that is created globally. And now, whoever has been like properly positioning themselves, which we were before and which we are, I think that's a game changer, right? So, and outsourcing is now normal, right? People were thinking outsourcing before, that I need people onshore. Now we have reduced the ratio of onshore and increased the ratio of offshore. That's that, because now you're working from home. So does it matter whether you're working in North America? If I give you the same time zone, a client doesn't care. So that's a robust growth. And I think the future, even after post pandemic, we are not going to go back to square one. We are going to consistently see that kind of outsourcing and offshoring growth. I think that's what we would like to leverage and scale out as quickly as possible and avail each and every opportunity. As I said, market is very open for us. We are a very small player in this ecosystem
Okay,
globally,
Junaid.
not the Pakistan ecosystem. Sorry.
Okay. Junaid Sheikh is asking, VisionNet has a subsidiary in India. How much of the total revenue in percentage terms of VisionNet Systems is diverted to System Limited, and how much to VisionNet Systems India?
It's basically for us. It's VisionNet is our customer and client and is our associated company, and we get whatever we can serve. So I think it's not about the questioning of diverting here and there. It's not like the diverting game. Wherever there is a strength, we want to grab the customer. That's the key globally. And once we grab the customer, then we serve the customer wherever it can be served, like optimally. And so it's nothing like diversion or anything like that, for sure.
Okay, another question from Junaid, and my understanding is that Systems has moved the Middle East operations back to Pakistan. Although this will reduce admin costs, but will it have any impact on the future performance of the company in the said region?
Who said we have never shared? We never said that we have moved our operations to Pakistan. What we have said in our annual report, that more and more offshoring happens. So we move few people on site because customer has realized that why keep people on site and still work from home? Why not pay less? So our revenues will be definitely down, but more profitable. Cash flow will be robust because here we have a Dubai, and you Middle East is expensive. We all know that, right? So it's the best thing that happened to us, right? The best thing that happened to Pakistan, and best thing that happened to this export of this industry, where people have realized to move more and more jobs offshore. And this is our mission, vision, purpose: create more employment in Pakistan here, and more and more offshore. That's our strength, right? Offshore is our strength. So on-site will be there. We have like still very like large people, like employee base in Middle East as well. But what ratio is our offshore to onshore ratio is increasing, and that's what we always wanted, but it was not possible. Now it is happening.
Okay, next question is from Taha Javed. How will the proposed changes in the IT sector export law, tax laws impact you? Will it impact cash flow? I think the first part you've already answered. Second, will be cash flow impacting or not?
No, why?
Okay. Okay, next question comes from Taha bin Yamin. Can you share your view on the recent changes in the taxation for IT? You might already answered. Growth plans such as entering new geographies or new areas, business acquisition. Uh, so any new geography, what sort of a top line growth you are looking at considering you have significantly strengthened human resources? Update on SBP approval for EMI. So Taha bin Yamin has a lot of questions.
Okay. So I think growth is definitely, as I said, there is a it's a great opportunity for us to grow as much as we can. It's in a fast growing market where there is an opportunity, and we are going to avail that. We see. I can't share the numbers, but I can just tell you that a strong growth is possible, available, and we will do our best to achieve that, right? So whatever we can, and we are very optimistic about that, and everybody's optimistic because digital world has changed, right? So it's not a secret sauce. Everybody knows digital is taking precedence in space. So I think tax answer I already have given, and EMI license. The third question is, of course, we are what EMI license is. First of all, right? It is enabling us to do more and more innovative use cases, right? Which we would not be able to do without that. So we are expanding our use cases, we are expanding our retail base, and we are right now focused on B2B growth. We with our use cases, with our and again with the license, we are our plumbing or our integrations are done, most of it, and so that is giving us a good advantage over the competition that is in the market, because we are not competing, we are collaborating, and we are collaborating with various source providers, various wallets, various banks, various telcos. So we are acting as a hub in between, and we are very optimistic that will open up the floodgates for us in the future.
Okay, one interesting question from Taha, which is, will you also be considering share buyback, considering strong cash flows and similar trend of tech companies doing buyback in the US and abroad?
Um, I think we always debate that at the board level, what to do, because of course, when you have the cash, we know that putting the cash in the balance sheet doesn't do good for us, because we can grow our our growth rate, and our returns are much higher than whatever we get with this cash. So there are various options always on the card, and we are evaluating for the growth, that how can we grow faster with this cash, right? That's our always first priority, right? So share buyback is it going to grow us faster? We always debate that and question that. But I think I would say the cash, when you have the cash, you can. Our view is that it has to be used in disruption, it has to be used in innovation, it has to be used in the future expansion and the faster growth, organic and inorganic both.
Okay, investors would be very happy because the stock is 840% up since the time you got it listed. So once you decide that, it will be a pleasure for everyone. Okay, now coming back to a few questions. This question is from Rob Skepper. He's saying, thanks for the call. US is growing faster than any other region in 2020. Is it is because of management focus and profitability in the US? Or are you getting better transaction there? Is demand much stronger there? It would be a great exposure, the US versus MENA versus European dynamics.
I think, of course, US is the key market, right? As I said, we are very, very small player in this ecosystem, right? So US offers, there's no better market than North America, right? So let's put it this way, right? From technology, from innovation, from disruption, from anything you name it, right? Startup or whatever, right? So that is given. So our strong focus, investment is will always be there. That will be our top market. And of course, the second best market from a margin perspective is Europe. Europe is going to, we are very optimistic again, because we are leveraging whatever we have done in US, it's applicable in your retail is retail, CPG, CPG, BFSI is BFSI. So it's not like a hell of a difference between these markets. And over there, more fashion, more retail. So Europe is going to grow because we have a very tiny business. So it will definitely grow in percentages or whatever. In times, I would say it can. It's a potential to do that. We have now we're focused on UK, Germany, and of course, other part of the region as well. And now, actually, you don't have to have an office with this kind of mindset shift. I'm thinking like we can be anywhere, right? From a supply perspective, HR perspective, and from a customer base perspective. Customer is not looking that you have to have a physical office, an entity registered, then I'm going to do a business with you. It's this whole game has changed. We can have a very small office space or whatever, and couple of peoples, and can still do a great business in any economy. This digital transformation post pandemic has a game changer. So these two geographies, and of course Middle East is also growing. I think with Expo 2021 and investment coming from opening up of geographies, Qatar and UAE issue has resolved. So I think Qatar market has been opened up as well. So it's a great thing happened in that as well. In Pakistan, I would say I wish that we should be believing in what we're saying, and we should be transforming really the digital Pakistan and really do the business. But I think the progress is slow. So we are very focused on the export side right now. And of course, we'll keep continue doing Pakistan, but export is our focus.
Okay, next question is coming from Harry. He's asking difference between your consolidated and unconsolidated financials.
Difference between consolidated and consolidated
Uh,
financial, I think it's very simple, right? So if you look at our structure of the company, which I shared, we Systems Limited, all Tech Vista, we consolidate, and Systems Venture is new, and EP Systems we consolidate our portion of it. Revenue we consolidate, but our portion of profitability or loss we attribute to us, right? Which we have shown into our financial statements as well.
Okay, there will be some basic questions, but obviously people want to listen it from the management themselves, so I'm just putting that through. Next question is coming from Juso. Mind me if I'm not pronouncing it correct. His question is, can you elaborate a bit on your customer acquisition strategy in the Europe and UK, US versus Europe? Where do you see larger growth opportunities for systems?
Uh, Customer acquisition strategies, of course, there are many sources. I'll list few high level. Uh, Always word of mouth, where people, you have the relationship and they know, they move, they give you business. The channels like principals and your alliances, which is like such as we have a relationship with Microsoft, Salesforce, IBM, Gento, Adobe, whatever, right? So that gives you another one. Your alliances and partnership with the global consulting firms, that gives you the third source. And of course, your own pre-sales and sales engine, because we have the solutions. We have business solutions. We take it and use as a door openers. We have our own inside sales and sales team. So we go and do new customer acquisition. We are very focused on net new. Of course, growing existing customers is the key. That gives you the sustainability, that gives you confidence, and then net new logo acquisition is through these sources, right? EU versus US, I think both we are, as I keep repeating myself, we are very very small footprint in these economies. So whatever we do, it will be immense, right? So US and Europe will both grow. Europe numbers are smaller, so I can say if it can grow in times, it can, but US numbers are higher, so it can grow in percentages, but both have a equal potential to grow. And since our base and our experience is in US more, we have more customers, we have more referrals. So naturally, from a numbers perspective, US is the core market for us because of experience, because of the
Okay.
length, and so and management structure over there.
Any another question from Rob is: would you ever tidy up the ownership structure of VisionNet? Uh, I don't know what he exactly means by that, but if you can uh,
No, I
respond to
think
that.
VisionNet is a separate company from us. It's an associated company. It's not like something, as you can't see that in the system structure. Uh, we have we just treat as a customer and we get the work, and we have the, of course, uh, we always keep getting like we have been doing this since last 20 plus years. It's not like a new thing for us, and all the transfer pricing and everything is well documented, uh, well practiced. So we tidy up means I don't know what it does it mean, but of course the structure will remain same. But from a systems and VisionNet perspective, there is no association from the legal perspective, but we know it's a captive offshore center with the and we work together from since like 23 years roughly, give and take.
Okay, the way I would like to respond is to that. Probably we have seen the most stable gross margins coming from the US business,
Yeah.
where the which is courtesy VisionNet. So any kind of element on the tidiness is quite visible in the numbers.
Yeah.
This was my output on that. I
Yeah,
don't know
always.
if
I
you
think if
agree.
you look at our segment analysis, I think our 95 or 90% of at least 90% of our profit comes from our North America, 90 to 95% from North America and Europe.
Okay, another question is from Sergey. He's asking, can you please explain the Q on Q sharp drop in EU revenue in fourth quarter 20 and the sharp increase in the US revenue?
From Q4, we had one contract which was ending in this December. So in last quarter, I would say, and then renewing. We were in the process of renewing it, so it has been renewed in the quarter one. So it was a temporary drop from last quarter perspective.
Okay, another question from Sergey is, can you share any goals for 2021 and why was nothing acquired yet? Considering the pandemic, I would have thought that there were plenty of opportunities for cash-rich company like ours. Uh, so if you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, growth. I think, as I kept saying during the presentation, of course, we see there is a potential, there is an opportunity, and there is definitely a growth opportunity for companies like us. We tried to answer that acquisition. We tried, but it didn't go through. So we have been trying, and but we need to. We can't, we didn't make the decision in the haste because uh, when you are growing, it's important that you look at the culture, you look at the chemistry, and you do a right decision because it can derail that kind of focus and growth as well. So I think it was an important for us, and we consider that as a top priority for us. But we will not make any decision in the haste because as I said, organic growth is there, and it's an immense opportunity for us to do organic growth. Of course, we are also concerned about the cash that we have because we completely understand we can do more with that cash, and we would love to, but we will not make any decision in the haste which can put us behind.
Okay, next question is from Claire. He's asking the reason for the 11% gross margins in UAE region.
Yeah, UAE region, I explained to you what happened during pandemic situation. Uh, we we were selling to our customers. I was personally doing that with my team over there many years. that please move many people offshore. Your ratios are screwed. But I think the trend and the mindset was more and more people need to be in front of your eyes. Like we need an on-site in UAE. And when pandemic happened, after a couple of months of working from home, they realized that we need to move people offshore. So when you move people offshore, there is a bench that creates in temporarily for a quarter in or two in the UAE side, but we get more profit in the standalone. So that was a difference, and of course this transition was settled uh, last year. So now, of course, we're done with it. So that was a temporary thing, of course, with this pandemic situation.
Okay, another question from Sergey is asking why was the tax rate so high in fourth quarter 20, considering we were not supposed to pay the tax?
Yeah, export is no tax, and domestic and other income is being taxed as well. So we booked that because we had the cash, so we had other income, and other income was taxed at a regular rate, corporate tax rate. And the next thing was EP systems. We had some tax adjustments in our EP, which is one load for the entire year. So there was a tax adjustment for one-time tax adjustment for 2 years, I would say, in EP.
Okay, next question is from Satish Balani. He's asking, can you please provide some detailed brief about one load and how will it be monetized going forward? I would like to club another question by Syed Fawad Basir. He was asking that the market chatter of one load is around 5 billion rupees of valuation. So if you could respond to both of them in one go.
I would not answer the second one, of course. Market chatter is market chatter. That's not uh, my field. The first is, of course, we are seeing the growth. As I said, we are increasing our B2B business first, and with the IFC being on our board, we get a very good guidance. We get a very good from the board very good input, and since they have invested in the similar companies in the other geographies, even in third world countries, so we get a very good vision from that perspective. So OneLoad is going to be definitely with the license and with all the right ingredients and with the right investment going to grow. So that's the first answer. Second is we'll skip.
Okay, I'm intentionally putting up some of the tough questions. I hope you don't mind because I have complete freedom from your side to ask whatever I want to.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, then next question comes from Muneeb Ahmed. How you see artificial intelligence and ML as systems key focus area in years to come?
It has been our key focus area since last 3 4 years. We have developed data competency is one of the largest competency in systems, and we are constantly and continuously building the bench and strength and solutions as well to pitch to our customers, because that's the future. As I said, digital, data, cloud, these three things is the future of our consulting and engineering business.
Okay, next question comes from Neil. His question is, can you explain the one load business? Who is the majority owner? Systems 44.6%. How does Systems make money? Percent of GMV flat fee per year from retailers. So I think if you can elaborate a bit more on that.
Uh, we of course make money on each transaction, so it's a GMV. We make there's a percentage commission on each and every transaction. It's a transaction-oriented business. So as we are growing the retailers, we are increasing the user base, we are increasing the transaction, we are increasing the throughput, we are increasing the GMV, and our revenue and our margins will be improved as well. Systems on we consolidate our revenue, as I said earlier, and we take our profit or loss share into our financial statement as per our percentage, which you guys can see in our financial as well.
Okay, if you allow me, I would also like to ask one of questions and I've been asking you a few in the past few years. We have seen a 32% revenue CAGR in the last 5 years. I know it's hard to predict, but what kind of revenue CAGR, if you as a company would be projecting? It would be north of 30% over the next 5 years, north of 25%, north of 35%. Uh, eh,
I think to the fair answer, of course, as I said, the future outlook, what we can say is that you can extrapolate from our previous historical trends, right? Nobody wants to destroy the history, right? So uh, I think, of course, that's always the leadership and management and board interest that you can't just go back to where you were, right? So that's what the minimum I would say. Rest is, I think, I can't comment on percentages, but that's what I would like to
but
say.
we can expect to maintain the same. One interesting thing over the years I've noticed is that we have seen, as you mentioned very rightly in the presentation, that you've hired Asif Akram from outside. Usually, what the appointments systems have been nurturing the initial the people that were with the firm for the last 5 years. So these are a few high level appointments that you have done in the recent past. I think
Yeah.
we from outside. Is this a change in strategy?
No, it's not a change in the strategy. It's basically uh, we are growing fast and we need to grow at every level, and we are nurturing our talent. It's a very good question. That, of course, we are nurturing our talent and bringing from people from within as our top priority. But as you are growing, you need always like fresh grad as a fresh blood in the leadership as well. So we keep challenged ourselves. We do not want to have a monotonous, or we need to be challenged. So we need to be bringing better people than us in our leadership as well, so we can continue to be challenged and continue to grow and continue to have operational excellence. And that's what we will be doing. We will be hiring from outside for sure. As I said, now scaling out is not a problem. We can scale out from outside of Pakistan as well. So scaling will happen at every level, and promotion from within will also keep happening as well.
Okay. Next, we have is Matthias Martinson. I can tell you he's the biggest marketeer of systems. How large share of revenue growth came from inorganic growth during 2020? How do you see that share as a percentage of total growth going forward?
We all have 100% organic growth. We didn't acquire anything. So it is all organic, whether through new customer acquisition or from existing customers or from existing markets. So we had not added anything, a new market, new geography. So it was all organic. So we didn't do any inorganic last year.
So, and the next one would be interesting as to how do you see inorganic growth seeping in as a percentage of the total growth that comes going forward. So we know that there is obviously nothing, no new venture that you can obviously say that at this point in time you've acquired, but just it will give a sense on the direction of how aggressive you are on the inorganic side. If you could shed some light on that.
I would say that we are definitely looking at options. Okay. So we are, and we will continue to do it, right? So that's like your job description, right? So this is one of the top 3 4 things that you continuously to do that. And whenever you find something, you just do it, right? You just go ahead and execute it, right? It has to make sense first. So we will continue to do that. I think no change in strategy, but more and more cash you can acquire, you will keep pushing yourself more in that direction to spend more time on those areas.
Once you do your first acquisition, I think a lot of these questions will be answered. Next question comes from Harun Farooq. Government has set a target of achieving $5 billion in IT export by 2023 from $2 billion in FY21. What's your take on that?
Yeah, government can set any targets for themselves, right? So that's their prerogative. I
How
think
realistic is that?
um, I think it's anything can be achievable, but it's I would not say that. I think 40 to 50% growth is doable in our industry. It's not a big deal. So you can, if it is not five, it can be three, four. So it's achievable by 2023. I would say because 30-40% growth this industry can do without any government intervention. That I'm very optimistic. So we don't need for 30-40% type of a growth year on year. This industry doesn't need much. But yeah, if it requires in times, then yeah, it requires a lot of things which government can do, which I don't think so. But because it's about the business that we need to run, right? So what government can do
Okay,
other
a
than
bit
ease of doing business, if they can,
a
right?
bit
And
a bit of a twist in the question. Since you are the market leader and you have been recipient of export trophies for the best export performance, would you outpace any market trend growth? So if the market grows by like 40%, do you have the capability to grow higher than the market?
uh, capability wise, I'm always optimistic about my team, so we can outgrow anything. But as I said, the market is there. We're a tiny player in the global ecosystem, so opportunity is there. So I don't know whether it's outpaced or not, but yeah, we definitely have the capability to do whatever we can, right? So I'm very confident about that.
Okay. Question next comes from Juso. Any plans to expand into higher value added services similar to what your Indian peers are doing?
Higher value added services, we are doing a value added services business. We are not doing traditional IT work or BPO work only, right? So BPO is 16% of our revenue, which is also in a very niche area, which is also value added. It's not like a just normal work. It's a very value added, specialized skill set. And we led this with software, software led or technology led BPO services. So most of our services are value added services, not like just rudimentary call center, rudimentary data entry. It's not like that at all. Or just back end programming of .NET. It's not like that.
Okay. Next question comes from Murad Ansari. Would you expect the Pakistan versus export split of revenues to remain broadly the same over the next 2 to 3 years?
Same means like
Split percentage wise, domestic versus export split. So 80-20, 85-15.
I think I shared in my presentation, our focus is more on export side. So, but we are not like deliberately reducing Pakistan, but our export is sorry, our focus is on export side. So ideally, export should grow.
And since Murad is an analyst, the next is relating to margins and related to what would you expect operating margins to improve or stay around 23 to 24%?
Um, I think naturally in our industry, if your top line grows at a faster pace, margins has to be a little better than your top line growth, which you have seen in our result as well. If you're growing at 38%, our CAGR is 49% because economies of scale kick in because your fixed and admin cost doesn't extrapolate. Your only HR cost is variable, which increases. So I say that margin should again, it's a currency as well, right? So you need to, I'm not worried about currency or FX at this point, but of course, in a given point in time, if you look at it, in a given quarter, it might be here and there, but in the longer run, we all know where we are heading, right? So it's a longer term sustainability, longer term path is clear. So it all depends. So but I think economies of scale kicks in always. There is no in services business. There is always any type of services business.
Okay, Ahmed Hassan from Al Mizan. How does the company view other payment systems such as cryptos? Will the company move one load towards them?
We have so many use cases ahead of that. So first we need to acquire and do solve these issues before going to crypto.
Okay. So we are already past an hour into the. We have a few more questions. I hope you don't mind taking up them.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, 5 minutes we can extend.
Okay, who are your competitors in the global markets? Are there any other Pakistani IT company that you think you are competing against in the global markets? Is from Usman Siddiqui.
No, it's a very big market. I think you guys, it's a trillions of dollars, of services market. So nobody can compete with anyone. I think there are so many competitors in every space, but it's not like Pakistani company competing with us in a specific
Okay.
market. I think the market size is too huge. We are nobody actually.
Okay, Nasheed Malik, what softwares are implemented under the software implementation and how much of it is proprietary and how much is passed through like software suite of Microsoft, etc.?
I think a 95, uh, I would say greater than 95% is services and less than 5% is pass through.
Okay. Uh, Murad Ansari, once again, how much of the technical resource is based offshore and do you expect that with the model changing post pandemic, there is room to scale up business without scaling up offshore resources? I think you've pretty much answered that.
Yeah. I think.
Uh, Zuhair Mustafiz, kudos Asif and the team. Can we expect EPS doubling to 34 in 2021 or we have exhausted the gains of pandemic in 2020? I think we
Huh.
can only laugh at or smile at while responding to this. Omar Parvez, what is stopping the principal's vendor to sell their solution directly to clients in markets where Systems Limited is serving them? I think it's typical. How you can you want to
Principal, principal is selling the platform, right? So we need to implement those platforms and we need to service those platforms, right? So principal is not selling the solutions and they need implementation partners, right? So they can't replace implementation partners. This is how it works. All the principles are like that. So that model is not going to change. I don't see that changing like for foreseeable future.
Okay, next question is from James Bannon. He's asking, you mentioned that the recurring revenue was approximately 90% of the sales. Does this mean that 90% of the sales comes from existing customer or is it really recurring?
Existing customers and recurring both the same thing. Like if you have existing customers, then you can have a recurring revenue, right? So it's directly proportional. Yes, that's what I've already said, right? So that's about, and of course, with remaining, we need to acquire new customers and keep growing, right? So
Okay, IT export of Pakistan have grown by 34% Y on Y. How do you see this trend going forward? What will be the approximate annual number 5 years down the line? And what is the difference between margins in software implementation and BPO call center? So the number in 5 years, what do you see that? A realistic number coming from an IT expert?
I think, as I said, 30% growth is very achievable year on year. 30 to 40, you can say, but if you can take a conservative number, doubling in 3 years should not be an issue, ideally. And the margins are definitely higher in professional services and implementation business versus call center and BPO. There is a worldwide phenomena. It's not like here because those skill sets are scarce and BPO and call center skills are in abundance as compared to IT and these specialized technology skill set. The rates are higher and margins are higher as well.
Okay, next question is coming from Johannes. Which large IT outsourcing companies do you envision systems to be mostly similar to one day? Would it be the Indian majors or the likes EPAM?
Yeah, I think we follow very closely Globant, EPAM, and FPTs of the world, and I think they are in the similar geographies. They are not Indian, like they're Latin America, Vietnamese companies, Sri Lankan companies like Virtusa. They all are. They all do the same thing, similar stuff. So all these 4 or 5 companies which we have been following, they all do this. We all do the similar things. Their scale is higher, of course. Their numbers are much higher. As I said, we are very smaller in this global ecosystem, but we definitely have an opportunity to reach at their level. So nobody's stopping us. It's they do the same thing. So what I don't see any reason why couldn't we be.
Junaid Sheikh, SBP has modernized foreign exchange regulations recently to facilitate startups, fintechs, and exports. This will allow companies to set up branch offices abroad. How do you see this development, and will it help Systems Limited expand more aggressively?
Yes, from a startup perspective, from venture perspective, definitely. If we want to acquire a company, we can mirror the company abroad. We can attract more foreign investment in those foreign companies versus in Pakistan, because always the VCs have their concerns that how they are going to invest in Pakistan and how they are going to take it back from Pakistan. So, with this kind of regulation, as I shared earlier as well, it will definitely help Pakistan.
Okay. Neil Dehora, he's asking, your annual report notes that Vision Systems USA was acquired by Systems in 1997.
Yes, but of course it's split it in 2012 as well.
Okay. Uh, I think Wajid Rizvi, are you planning to set up an incubator in Pakistan for startups?
We are incubating in our company, like in systems. We will with through with system ventures, as I said, invest and innovate through incubation, right?
Perfect. I think we have attended to almost all the questions. My apologies if some questions have been skipped, but I've tried to post almost all the questions to the management, and Asif has been kind enough to respond to almost all of them. Some of them being tough ones. Um, if there are any questions on the financial modeling side or earnings estimate side, Insight Securities will be happy to answer or run through our financial models, which Systems unfortunately can't do it on their own. So do get in touch. And I think it was a very insightful call. Asif, we hope that you can continue the magic that you have been putting to work in the last 5 years.
And
And
it's my team, it's not us at all.
Asif and team, I think the board, the management, and everybody at Systems obviously is an equally responsible. So it's not a one-man effort that takes it to you to places anywhere. So on this note, I would like to conclude the call. Thank you, management of Systems, the chairman, the directors, and CFO and the CEO of the company. Thank you all the people that spared the time to be a part of this effort, the analyst community, the investors. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to us at Insight Securities, and we can always connect you to the management of Systems Limited. And on this note, I would like to um, end the call. Look forward to hosting this event in future as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Love.